Another look at the tee shot from the 6th for Morgan Pressel with a 7-iron, 151 yards when you're in the last group with a Hall of Famer who has 23 wins on this last day. Pretty good time for this.
And she also had the honor.
Yes. Timing is everything. Pressel with the hole-in-one at the 6th. The vault ahead of Pak, but Pak has come right back. They're tied at the top at 14 under. A Hall of Famer and a teenager lead the way. Morgan Pressel is no ordinary 19-year-old, though. With a plunge into Poppy's Pond, she became the youngest major champion ever. And yesterday at Highland Meadows, she powered her way up the leaderboard. That is, after a mid-round ice cream boost from her young cousin, cutting her way to a 64. But it's veteran Sayri Pak who has set the standard again here in northwestern Ohio. Pak has cruised to 3 rounds in the 60s this week, including a 63 on day 1 in her quest to capture a 5th Jamie Farr title. 2 of the top names in women's golf are together in the final group on the final day. This should be a whole lot of fun over the next 2 hours. This final group, Sayri Pak's second shot from the rough here at 10.
Well, she's drawn a beautiful lie. She's got 131. Good-looking golf shot right at the flagstick.
Well done. Yesterday, however, for Morgan Pressel, after some ice cream, a couple of birdies, closing out the front 9, this was her second shot at the 10th.
This is a very difficult hole location in the back left-hand corner of the green. And what a shot she played.
So she read that and went one better at 6 today. Went ahead and made it. Now, today's second.
Just a pitching wedge from 112 yards.
So both she and Sayri Pak with opportunities here at the 10th. They're going head-to-head here. 14 under through the front 9. Remember, Sayri Pak had the lead by 2 to start the day. Yesterday, she started the 3rd round at 11 under, 5 ahead of the pack. So Laura Diaz, you see her at 8 under. This is how she got there just a moment ago at the 12th. Diaz on the first page, but they're well behind. 6 off the lead. Diaz, Kerry Wood, Linda Vesberg from Sweden as we take you back to the 10th. This for Pressel, the birdie, and she would have the outright lead.
Get in the hole.
Good look there at these old-style greens that move from the back to the front. There is a little speed if you get beyond the hole, and certainly with angles and so on and so forth, a lot of break.
So a chance now for Sayri Pak to take the lead all by herself. This is what she has done in the state of Ohio as a professional.
If you add also, of those 20 times she's finished in the top 10, 14 times. So I'm surprised she doesn't have a condo or some sort of living quarters here in the state.
The tax man loves her here in Ohio. 800,000 plus through a career just in this event. In fact, after the first 3 days this year, she's had 8 straight rounds in the 60s in this event. Hey, you go on and on with the numbers. I mean, 27 of the 41 rounds she's played here have been in the 60s. She's just dominated this event.
You get to a golf course you feel very comfortable on, and it's amazing. You can come here playing poorly, and you'll just flip a switch and you can get it going.
So Charlie, a little move from the left.
Judy, I think it's inside the hole. I mean, this is about as easy a putt as you could get on this green. She just got to make sure she gets it there.
She was walking early. The stroke's been good this week, but she knew that right away. So now the tap in par, Pressel. Just outside of tap in, I guess. They move to the 11th, both at 14 under. Sayri Pak and Morgan Pressel here on the final day of the Jamie Farr. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and the LPGA welcome you to final round coverage of the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic, presented by Kroger. A traditional stop on the LPGA, and the players who come here year in, year out, for them it's extended family. That's how they make you feel here just outside of Toledo. Wind not really a factor today. Low scores and great play in the final group. Pak, Pressel throughout the afternoon. Stay with us. ESPN's presentation of the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic, presented by Kroger. Brought to you by Owens Corning, proud to be the title sponsor of the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic. Choice Hotels, official hotel partner of the LPGA. Visit choicehotels.com/LPGA. And Sky Caddy, the #1 ranked.
On behalf of Owens Corning, I would like to add my welcome to the 2007 Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic, presented by Kroger. As the title sponsor for the 4th year in a row, Owens Corning views this as another opportunity to demonstrate our commitment to and belief in the community we call home. Since its inception, this tournament has raised more than $5 million for worthy charities in Northwest Ohio, and we expect this to be our very best year ever. And of course, it couldn't happen without the involvement of the more than 1,200 volunteers who work tirelessly to make everything run smoothly. A very, very special thank you to each of them. For nearly 70 years, Owens Corning has worked to deliver solutions, transform markets, and enhance lives by creating products and services that conserve energy and help sustain the environment, making the world a better place to live. And this week, by partnering with Jamie Farr, another Toledo area icon, we're able to make a real difference right here at home. Thanks for joining us for what promises to be another exciting Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic.
Let's go to the 11th hole for the tee shots.
Excuse me, Andy, his tee shot totally blind. Sayri has missed this to the right.
Just a moment ago, this is Morgan Pressel's tee shot.
And going with the driver here, Andy. Not much wind to speak of, and this one started down the right. I don't know if it's going to turn back enough.
And Jane, it doesn't, but we can see it even in the shadow, so it is sitting up. Not too bad in the rough there. So it comes down, for the most part, here to Pak and Pressel. A number of other players playing very well. Kerry Wood among them at 9 under. Laura Diaz there. But, guys, it is the final group. It's Pak, it's Pressel, two of the top names. If you really set it up at the beginning of the week and said, all right, pick out two who you think might be in the final group, this would be it. And let's talk about Sayri Pak, the Hall of Famer. 23 wins, Judy, in her career. This year, though, measuring her success by top 10s, 5 top 10s, not victories so far.
Well, we've documented that she loves this place, and she's playing very well this week. But the fact is she has not had a standout season. A win would really be nice for her to have, and have it right now. But her most recent memory, 68 in the final round of the U.S. Open, a tie for 4th. There is no doubt her golf game's in very good shape.
And for both of them, Andy, in the final group, Morgan Pressel said it after she finished with a 64 yesterday. She said, I'm really looking forward to playing with Sayri Pak because I won't have to wonder, what is she doing now? She'll be right there next to me.
I think it's going to be important. We realize the winner of this tournament is going to come out of the last group. So these players have to focus on playing the golf course and not get too caught up in playing each other. That could be a downfall. If you look at how they both played the back nine, Morgan Pressel's played at 4 more under par than Sayri Pak. In the last 5 holes, she's played 4 under more than Sayri Pak. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the last few holes.
And Morgan Pressel this year, of course, the winner of the first major of the season, the Kraft Nabisco Championship, only 19 years of age, and maybe that same type career ahead of her that Sayri Pak has had at this point. But even with the great year, she's known some adversity.
Well, and when you talk about the most recent memory, Morgan Pressel's most recent memory was contending at the U.S. Open on that Sunday, playing very well and maybe even contending early on in the back nine, but finished very poorly, played the last 5 or 6 holes terribly and was emotionally distraught. So coming back here and playing very well, trying to win this week and maybe winning this week, that erases that bad memory.
A hole-in-one helps a little bit, though, right?
Boy, you bet does it ever. You talk about putting pressure on the opposition. This is why players like to play professional golf. This is why we like to talk about it. We hope this is why you like to watch it. This should be fun.
Sayri Pak comes right back in birdies right after the hole-in-one.
Yep.
That's part of the reason she's a Hall of Famer.
Great competition.
Yeah, not bad for the next hour and a half plus. Watching them here at Highland Meadows, just outside of Toledo. But Sayri Pak in a bit of trouble here off the tee at 11.
Well, the good news is that
19 and 12, 31 hole, 15 more to the back edge, 46 back edge.
the good news is the ball is sitting very cleanly. Bad news is she's got to contend with an overhanging limb right in front of her. She's going to have to keep this ball low. I'm expecting to see something here that lands, maybe 15 yards short of the green, and she tries to get it to release up to this hole location.
There is a false front on this green, so it needs to have a little bit of speed on it.
Now this is a bit of a pull here. Oh, she got a nice little kick off the mounding there.
Did you hear what she said? Where are you going?
Well, it took a nice right turn once it got there. Just a moment ago, this is Morgan Pressel.
It's from 151 yards, according to Sky Caddy. Just has to fade it just a little bit around that tree.
Boy, and you could see the open stance set up way open to try to get the ball to move from left to right.
Coming out of the rough, it's a little more difficult to get the ball spinning. Both players 14 under par. This is going to be a fun last 8 holes. Let's go to 13 and check out Laura Diaz going for another birdie to get to 9 under. Playing some of her best golf of the year. Yeah! There you go.
And meanwhile here on the tee at the 14th, having a great tournament this week, Kerry Wood.
Judy, how do you explain, here's a player who's basically struggled the last 7 or 8 years on tour, and all of a sudden this week everything's going beautifully.
Well, all of a sudden everything has gone right, and as we know, as we look at statistics, she has made a lot of putts. But it's really nice to see sort of a journeyman professional who has struggled and worked so hard, looking like she's going to have the best tournament of her career.
36 years of age, Kerry Wood from Florida. Career best finish 12th. And she's been to Q school, you said it yesterday, 13 times.
Perseverance, that's all that comes to mind.
That little 1 sure stands out on the front 9. Look at distance-wise, Sayri Pak much longer off the tee, but Morgan hitting almost every fairway.
And Morgan Pressel is a little bit what players call sneaky long. On paper, she's not the longest driver in the field, but when you play with her, she gets it out there plenty far.
How do you like that for a matchup, though? Greens and regulations both 74.1%.
It's a good reason why they're both at the lead. I mean, this is a golf course you have to hit it on the green and keep it in the right spots. Now putting off the fringe.
About 30 feet, Andy, and it's going to break quite a bit from left to right. Start to pick up speed at the end as well. Never quite got it over that little crest.
Janelle Lever, a tough little short putt.
Indeed.
Little slider to the right.
Yeah, they're little bone shakers, those ones, Andy.
I think bone shaker is an Aussie term.
It is. I have to say that.
So we go to 14. Did I say it right, Jane?
You did.
That's close.
Man. Yes, very good.
Kerry Wood now for her birdie to get it to double digits, 10 under.
Yeah, never got it there.
Talk about how she's putted this week. 75 putts the first 3 rounds. That's 25 a day. That's 11 under 2 putts. Sayri Pak's turn.
Well, a very similar putt. A pretty good swing from left to right. And as Jane mentioned, I think the last 6-7 feet of this putt is going to be very quick. And it's one that you've got to be cautious with, because this could easily get well past the hole. I think this is one of these putts, Andy, you're just sort of happy to get it up there, you know, a foot, 18 inches, tap it in and move on.
You get a little carried away here, and you can run it 3 or 4 feet by the hole very easily. So her front 9, those 2 early bogeys, and then came back with 3 birdies the last 4 holes on the front 9 after watching Morgan Pressel make the hole-in-one. So it says a lot about this player. She has a lot left, Charlie.
That's just a tough hole location if you miss your second to the left. I mean, ideally you want to be under the hole to the right, but when you drive it up under an oak tree, sometimes all you can do is get it on the green wherever you can take it.
Fellas, I was watching a little golf earlier in the day, and a friend and player, Dina Makapani, had a pretty good birdie putt at the 17th hole. Played a little bit of break and then ran it about 5 feet by, and she muttered as she came to the 18th tee, "It's not going to break when the speed is Mach 2." That's kind of the putt we saw right there.
Yeah, it actually has to be touching the surface for the break to happen.
Both players have some pretty tough par putts yet.
I like this lady's putting stroke. I like the pace of her putting stroke. I just think mechanically it's very good and very sound, and the numbers are pretty good this year.
Yeah, I agree, Judy. I really like watching her putt. I like the fact that she releases the putter. She's had great speed this week, well, with the exception of the last putt, but she's looked really good on the greens to me this whole week.
And just for the folks at home, when we talk about releasing the putter, a lot of people swing through the ball, swing through the impact area, trying to hold the blade square to the hole. That is not releasing the putter. The putter releases when the toe lets go ever so slightly.
If you don't release that putter, you get sort of a chicken wing effect, and I really like that toe passing the heel.
And Charlie, as you follow this final group, including the leader heading into the final round, Sayri Pak, the number 16 of 22. Third round leaders or co-leaders have won the Jamie Farr. And Sayri had a healthy lead yesterday to start the day. Lost it earlier. She was actually down. She was 2 off the lead after 7 today. Has fought her way back, but now Pressel here.
Well, Terry, I think this is a much more difficult putt than Sayri's. Sayri's was back uphill, and right-hand golfers love that right to left turn, and this one is going to be downhill, definitely a little slider to the right, and got to really trust your line and the speed and have them matched up perfectly. She's a pretty aggressive putter, so it'll be interesting to see how much break she does indeed play.
Jane, I think this is a much more difficult putt than the one that we just saw Sayri Pak make.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, she's struggling with this one. She puts a line on the ball, and I think this is one of the times when, if you rely on the line on the ball, you can have some problems, because sometimes you get up over a putt, and once you stand there, you feel like you want to give it a little bit more, or maybe not as much break. And if you're so reliable on that line, you've got to back off and start all over again and change it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think curving putts, you're better off having no mark. She seems pretty settled now. Ooh, snuck it in.
Just enough pace to keep it in that right edge. So Pressel and Pak with par saves at 11, still tied at the top at 14 under. remaining field over the course of the weekend. Scrolling across the bottom of your screen as Se Ri Pak is on the tee at the 12th. This just a moment ago.
Well, her last 2 tee shots were to the right, but not the case here. This is long and perfect.
Charlie, she's had some added distance this week when she has hit it on the center of the face.
Boy, she has popped a few. I've seen her hit a couple of 3-woods out 270, 280, Judy.
Let's go to 13 and IK Kim. 13th hole is a wonderful hole location just over the front left bunker. And this is going to be good. Just throw it on the front part of the green. It's going to stop. There's going to be some good birdie opportunities here.
Meanwhile, back at the 12th, this also a moment ago, Morgan Pressel.
I do like the way she releases her body. I think she uses her legs and body as well as any player in the LPGA this time.
Well, we'll watch when we see her hit another tee shot as the day goes on, but she stretches out at the ball more like players used to 20 or 30 years ago, not so close.
At 14, Laura Diaz for par. Boy, we talk about Christy Kerr with the win at the U.S. Women's Open being maybe the American now. The debate over who the top American is. There was a time when Laura Diaz was the next big thing.
Well, true, and she's trying to get back to that point right now.
Laura Davies. This live.
14th hole, playing 173 yards today. And a pretty difficult front hole location. This green actually slopes away from the player. To get it to stop like that, you've had to launch it way up in the air, which Laura Davies definitely can do.
Started the day 6 under. That's where she is right now. Angela Stanford also 6 under through 15. Wendy Ward playing well this week at 7 under. Linda Vesper, 26-year-old from Sweden, has been playing over in Europe, but has had a great week here in Toledo. Pak and Pressel, though, at the top of the leaderboard, 14 under. Remember, Se Ri back in '98 won this at 23 under. Included a 61 that week. She's had a 63 this week. But here in the fairway at the 12th, Morgan Pressel.
Yeah, she certainly is right in the middle of this fairway, Terry, and in a good position to approach this hole. Sky Caddy tells me she hit at 238 off the tee and 154 now left to the hole. Flag today located 22 paces on, so plenty of green to work with. Got to fly at least 10 to get over that false front, though. No problem with the tree. Guards the right side.
Oh, come on.
She didn't really like that one. It's not going to be too bad, though. I'm not sure what she was complaining about there.
What's she talking about?
She has had some very good misses this week.
We've learned not to trust her reactions.
You're exactly right.
She may be looking for a check at the end of the week for commentary on.
She always does.
The golf.
Do our own commentary. Now, Charlie, Se Ri Pak, we saw she's averaging 270 off the tee this week. She only averages 259 for the year on the LPGA, but when she wants to, she can launch it.
She launched this one. Sky Caddy has it at 281. And the great thing about it is she's left herself with a wonderful angle. I mean, she's looking up the fat part of the screen. She's got just 119 to the hole. As we listen in.
No. We got the right golf, but I don't think we need to fly quite to 15. I think we're 12, 13. I think the golf ball's going to get there. Just one do it.
Caddy TJ Jones.
Help here. Should help with the release.
TJ's one of the caddies of one of America's best clubs, Seminole, down in North Palm Beach. Good, solid caddy there. But anyway, this is just a wonderful scoring opportunity. I mean, she's not going to be pleased if she doesn't get this within 12 or 15 feet of the hole from this position.
Charlie, he may not want to go back to Seminole. This could be a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, this is a good line. Is it the right distance? It's not a very good play from there. I mean, that's up above the hole. I definitely think she's not happy with that one.
Jump ahead to 14, Laura Davies. We saw the tee shot here at the par 3. This to get it to 7 under. A couple of top 10s this year for Laura. Be headed to the Women's British Open at St. Andrews first week of August.
She's played really solid golf this year without really giving herself a great chance to win. I would think going to St. Andrews, that is going to be a golf course that will fit her game and her length exceptionally well.
So many quirks to that golf course too, and a caddy with local knowledge, figure it out quickly.
Let's go to 13. IK Kim for her birdie.
Get used to that name, I.K. Kim. She's going to be around for a long time. She is very good. After losing a playoff in Rochester this year, she said, now I can see clearly that I'm going to win a lot of tournaments.
Up to 15, Carrie Wood for her par. This has been the club that's served her so well this week, and that's the second putt that length in a row she's left short. Maybe it's getting a little nervous time. She hasn't been in this position many times, but still playing exceptionally well.
Lorena Ochoa still leading the money list by quite a large sum. Suzanne Pedersen, terrific year, a few wins, including a major. Christy Kerr at the U.S. Women's Open. And Morgan Pressel checking in at number 8 on that list.
That will change dramatically after this week.
Yep, jump ahead of Nicole Castrale and Mi-Hyun Kim, most likely, and Paula Creamer right there. Paula Creamer was here, played the first 2 days, but did not make the cut. Interesting to watch this group because Sae-Ri Pak is such a legend in South Korea, there's no doubt, and just about a legend, a Hall of Famer out here on tour. And yesterday she played with Jin Young Pak, who's 20 years of age, and we talked all afternoon about how Pak viewed her as an idol and the youngster playing with the veteran. Today she plays with Morgan Pressel, and you don't really think of Morgan Pressel that way, but she's even younger than Pak was yesterday. She's 19.
I think most of the young American players, because they have played so much junior golf and also because they've played a lot of amateur golf and they have maybe played a bunch of professional golf before they became a professional, they are pretty ready for this competition. They don't act like rookies when they're rookies.
19 isn't 19 anymore. True in life, I guess.
I think across the board with young people and certainly with young girls, everything is sped up just a little bit. The women's public links was played just a few weeks ago. 17-year-old won. The average age of that field was 20.
Wow. 12-year-old at the U.S. Women's Open this year. IK Kim on the tee at 14.
.173 yards.
And you look at the Rolex Rookie of the Year standings, and IK Kim right there behind Angela Park, but well behind. Park's had a terrific season, but IK Kim almost winning at Wegmans up in Rochester, losing in that playoff to Lorena Ochoa when Ochoa was down by 3, standing on the tee at 17.
Park had a great opportunity to win the Women's Open last tournament out, so some great rookies coming on board.
Another thing that's new with all those young players is as you go down the list, if you have watched them, and we've watched them all, everybody has a good golf swing.
Pak for birdie and sole possession.
Not a lot of break here, but this is a very quick putt. She's going to have to be cautious.
There it goes, Charlie.
And she just didn't put it in the position she wanted to on this green.
From less than 120 yards to get in that position, and now have to try to struggle to save par.
She hits a beautiful putt. I mean, it's a great stroke. The ball just doesn't slow down. She thought she had a chance of making it as it's rolling up there, and it just kept going and going, and all of a sudden now she's got some work left.
And I think you're at a stage in the back 9 of the golf tournament when things are going to be decided that you would like to not give yourself these kind of putts to have to make.
2 holes in a row.
I don't care how good a putter you are. If you have to hit enough of these, you're going to miss one eventually because of a blemish in the green or a ball mark or something else, something you can't control. So you don't want to, you know, if you've got it a foot from the hole, that's fine. But you get it that 2.5 or 3 feet, you're going to struggle eventually.
You could bring a robot out here, and a robot's not going to make 10 out of 10 from this distance.
And I think that is one of the characteristics of people who are great putters over a long time in their career. People like Kathy Whitworth. They didn't stress themselves a lot with second putts. Surely they had to make some, but so often they could roll the ball in that 12-inch circle.
Well done. She does it again, but it does go back to the approach, guys, from a short distance and not leaving herself below the hole because she thought she had a chance to make the putt, was aggressive, but then had to come back a lengthy par one. 14 under, the top number. Both Pressel and Pak made pars at 12, and they are tied at 14 under as they head to the tee, Andy, at the 13th.
And this is a very important fairway to put the ball in the fairway because it's a nice hole location from the fairway and a short iron. It's a great birdie opportunity. From the rough, you're struggling to make par.
And Sayree's going with that 3-wood. It says 15 degrees on the bottom, but it sure flies more like it's a 2-wood, maybe 11 or 12 degree club. Very low, flat flight.
I mean, that's a very standard 3-wood for today. A lot of 3-woods in players' bags are 13 degrees.
I've got to think that one's bent a little bit open, and that effectively reduces the loft, but she likes it, I can tell you that, Judy.
And now Morgan Pressel will be next. Wind is picking up just a little bit from behind the players. Important to drive it down the right side here to avoid that big tree on the corner. Can block out their approach shots. And this one is perfect. That'll be a great angle for this whole location.
We thought it would really be interesting to go back and look at 2001 and now today, 6 years later, and the difference in Sayre Pak's swing. On the left side 6 years ago, and you're going to watch a swing with a big, wide takeaway, a lot of width in the backswing all the way to the top. She supports the club, her hands underneath the club at the top of her backswing, and she swings through to a nice high finish. Even though the club relaxes, it's a very nice high finish. She was playing very well at this point. And now this is today. Posture has changed. Posture's a little more modern. The takeaway has changed dramatically. Hands come in tight, and then she swings the club to the top, and her hands don't quite support the club as well as they did before. Swings the club way underneath, then coming back through the impact area, and doesn't swing to quite as high a finish. So you can certainly see some differences, but I can't say that they don't both work.
Which do you like better?
I'm going to let Andy. Andy has a strong opinion here.
I really do like the swing of 2001. I think her posture in 2007 may have been improved, but I like the way she took the club away from the ball. Much wider, much stronger looking golf swing.
This swing today is a little more mechanical looking and looks like it's more position oriented. The other one more natural.
Is it a swing that's been worked on by other people and more modern, fitting today's swing?
It is. Well, I think when you say someone is more position oriented, that is more today than a decade ago.
Yeah.
But
over the course of a player's career, your swing changes, your ideas change. I mean, you're working on something new literally every 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not surprising that it would change somewhat.
And Sayre Pak did have a couple of years where she did not play very well, whether that was emotional and physical and the stress of being so good at a very young age, but she worked to regain her game.
Well, it's always worked at this event. 9 events played, and forget about the cuts made. She's been off the chart. She's won 4 of those. Look at the scoring average.
had another runner-up.
69. Yeah, exactly. Over $800,000 just in the Jamie Farr through the year. Second shot from Morgan Pressel.
It's just from 122 yards. And the wind is just swirling out here right now. It was behind her off the tee. But now it seems to be coming back in her face just a little bit here.
Well, she was ready to pull the trigger there. Jane and her caddy jumped in and thought she didn't have the proper club.
Well, she's got an extra 5 to carry that part of the green that's just over the bunker, and it's important, if you're going to miss, be a little bit long.
This one better be right.
And say what you like about playing the golf course. This is match play now, and Morgan Pressel needs to take advantage of the fact that she's going to play to most of these greens first.
Let's go over the 15th hole. Laura Diaz for her par putt. Yeah, she knew she didn't hit that hard enough as soon as it left the putter. It's an awful feel. No siree.
Well, Sayri had to keep that underneath a limb. This was a very difficult shot. Really no chance to get it near the hole. She just had a tough angle. That's about as good as she could have done from there.
That's the difference of being in the proper side of the fairway as you set up off the tee, Charlie.
Well, I was a little surprised she went with the 3-wood. I mean, the same line with the driver, and she would have had a wide open, clear shot to this flagstick.
Up ahead at 16, second shot from the fairway for Kerry Wood.
16th hole, very interesting par 4. Big tree that guards the right, just short of the green, and what a play. Cut it around that tree.
Good chance to get it back to 9 under for Kerry Wood, but the final group heading up at 13, still tied at 14 under. Being nominated this year, including Annika Sorenstam, Lorena Ochoa, and this player, Morgan Pressel. So this group has turned things around in terms of speed. They're already, that's just a moment ago, they're on the tee at 14. Par 3, 173 yards.
Wind hurting slightly from the left. This going right at the flagstick. Good looking golf shot here. Just maybe half a club long, but good solid play.
Yeah, carried it just a little far. Starting to come back though.
The first half of this green actually works away from the player, so you have to hit the perfect shot to have it land on the front with some spin and stop anywhere near the hole.
All right, we saw a hole-in-one earlier today from Morgan Pressel. Let's see what she's got here at 14.
And this one headed just right at the flag. Nice high ball flight here.
Little hybrid club, probably the equivalent of a 4-iron.
Inside of Pak. And as you mentioned earlier, Andy, Morgan Pressel playing the finishing stretch much better this week than Sayri Pak.
And that's not a guarantee that's what's going to happen, but as a player, if you know you've played certain holes well coming down the stretch, you feel pretty good about that.
How much of an effect do you think being put on the clock had on this group, or will have on this group? Because unlike, we don't see it on the PGA Tour, we have seen them assess the 2-shot penalty on the LPGA Tour. I'm not saying they would do this in the final group, but it's been done this year.
You know what? It has very little effect if they're both on the same page and they say, hey, we're a half a hole behind, let's pick it up. It has a big effect if they're not both on the same page and one is trying to catch up and the other is not.
But it doesn't, it's not assessed on the group. It is, you've got a time par, and for each shot, you are given personally a certain amount of time to hit your shot.
Well, from a player standpoint right now, you want to hope you continue hitting good shots. You don't have an awkward shot that you have to maybe grind on or do some extra work to prepare for.
Walk up to the green at 14. We jump ahead a couple of holes to 16. Kerry Wood. We saw the approach to this point to get it back to 9 under. Last 3 times we've seen her putt, she's done just that.
Yeah, starting to get a little tentative now, because now whether she's going to be 3rd or whether she's going to be 4th or wherever she's going to finish, she's starting to think about this is going to be the biggest check, you know, of my career.
She better not be thinking about that. She better be thinking about playing the next shot, or she will have some problems.
Well, I absolutely know that that's true, but you can see a tentativeness in her putting all of a sudden.
Difference of about $20,000, 3rd to 4th place. 86 to 66 or thereabouts. Now, looking over their putts at 14, this final group.
Well, Sayre Park will be away. She's about, I would say, about 8 to 10 feet further away. And this putt is going to be downhill initially and then go back uphill at the end. It's about 35 to 40 feet. This green, kind of bowl-shaped, really. It slopes from the front to the middle and then from the back to the middle. So not an easy putt, guys, there to judge the speed.
And when a player's on the clock, you'd much rather be the second player to putt, because it's not going to take you anywhere near as much time to line the putt up as the first player, because you get a little bit of help here particularly.
Nicely judged for speed. That was well done. Just a little bit of break from right to left. And as you said, Andy, I'm sure that's really going to help Morgan.
Okay, tap in for par. Still 14 under, and Pressel with a chance.
Well, and it's she's got a little bit less of a downslope initially to be concerned about, as Sayre did. And as we know, Morgan's a very aggressive putter. A huge gallery out here watching this final group. It's a perfect golf day.
Worthy to note that after her major championship victory at the Kraft Nabisco in March, on the way back to Florida that Sunday night, her wonderful set of golf clubs never made the trip. They were apparently stolen, I guess is what we have to believe. This is exactly the same model putter, though.
Body English trying to bring it back in. This wouldn't come.
2 really good putts from a decent distance from the hole.
Guys, this is pretty good. We got 4 holes left here, and it's going to be a great stretch. Earlier today, you guys went out there to take a look, starting with Jane.
The 15th hole here at Highland Meadows is a par 4 measuring 389 yards, and so far this week has played as the 3rd most difficult hole. The reason for that, a rather tricky drive. Players ideally should play a fade off the tee, but if they don't, they will run out of fairway on the left, and there's some very thick rough and some trees over there to make this hole rather difficult. Once in the fairway, not that much difficulty, just a mid-iron to the green. Hole today is located 19 paces on in the back right.
16th is a straightaway par 4 that measures 400 yards. The key here really is the tee shot. Players must keep that tee shot to the left. Anything from the center or right, and they'll have to tangle with a huge sycamore that guards the approach. Hole location is in the back left, and it's a difficult hole location. It's on a high spot. We're not going to see very many putts holed here today.
The par 5 17th plays 513 yards. So far this week, it's been the easiest hole on the golf course, but it has an awkward tee shot. The teeing area is about 15 feet below the fairway. But if a player can hit a really big drive here, there is a chance of reaching this green in 2. Laura Davies has made 2 eagles here so far this week. There's a front right hole location which will bring in that front right bunker, but we will see a lot of birdies here.
The last hole is a 532-yard par 5. The back-to-back par 5s for the finish here provide a lot of excitement. The tee shot at 18 seems to turn from right to left, but the shot that actually finds the fairway most often is one that falls off to the right. With a good tee shot here, it is remotely possible that someone might get home in 2, but I doubt very seriously that you will see that. Players do get close, though, and it is a great birdie opportunity.
Yeah, awfully tough to get home in 2 at 18, but Sayre on the tee at 15.
And this is a beauty.
Fine.
That was just a moment ago. Now live to Morgan Pressel and her tee shot.
And Morgan choosing the driver here, not as long as Sayre. And as I said, something down the left center is perfect. Even the gallery like it.
And it's a large gallery out there, too. Jane following this last group. Oh, side by side in the fairway at 15. Coming down the finishing stretch, tied at 14 under. Sayri Pak, the Hall of Famer. Morgan Pressel, the teenager. ESPN's presentation of the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic, presented by Kroger. Brought to you by Prudential. Let Prudential be your rock for retirement. Choice Hotels, official hotel partner of the LPGA. Visit choicehotels.com/LPGA. And Rolex, a crown for every achievement. Second shot at 15 coming up momentarily from Sayri Pak. Checking out the wind right now.
Well, she is sitting dead on 150 yards. Easy location here at 15, Barry.
Has the wind become more of a factor in the last 4 or 5 holes? They seem to be taking more time checking that out.
Yeah, I think just in the last several holes, the wind's starting to pick up just a little bit, but it's nothing like it was yesterday. Good solid contact here. Good looking golf shot right up underneath the hole. Oh, yeah, I think that's pretty good there, guys.
That left to get to 15 under. So the pressure now goes back on the shoulders of Morgan Pressel.
Closer than several putts she has rolled on the back 9.
Well, Judy and Andy in there, it's certainly game on.
Take another closer look at how this skirted the right side. Started the, watch it turns a little bit late.
Well, and tables turn now here because, as I said, you think Morgan Pressel would be the first to play to the green, but a little different story right here.
You're right.
A 148, guys. Just a little 6-iron. The game is certainly on now. It's also a good-looking shot. Just released a little too far there. Really bounced hard.
Yeah, you look at that.
Maybe half a club too much, Judy.
You look at that first bounce and for the ball to spin and grab up, and it just didn't take, Jane.
So advantage Pak, as she has just a little bit more than a tap in. Should be a birdie for Pak, we'll see, but Pressel some work to do from behind the green now, just off the green. Well, bigger name sitting next to Judy Rankin now than Andy North. It is Mr. Jamie Farr himself. And how many times have you seen that shot, huh? And the star on the Walk of Fame. And it is always great to have you in here,
It's
Jamie.
just like the person. My star is cracked, and so am I.
Hey,
I got to tell you, no, in Hollywood, what you've just done is replace the handsome Andy North leading man with a character comedian actor. That's what we have in our players directory. So I have to be very careful here because the leading man just left.
Andy stepped out. We won't tell. He'll get a big hit, so we won't tell him that. How did you manage this? You got Pressel and Sayri Pak, two of the biggest names in the final group, and they're dueling.
Well, I was so bad last year with my prediction. I thought I'd put a nice weather together and a great package so that ESPN2 will stay with us to the very end again with these two wonderful golfers. The interesting thing about Morgan, if you note, at 19 years old, she's very aggressive on the putts and her approach to shots. And I think that's great for a 19-year-old because you think, even though she's young, you'd still think that she'd be hesitant playing against a Hall of Famer like Sayri Pak.
We shut up. She does her own commentary, so yes. we don't have to say anything.
And, Jamie, we are seeing that with all of the 19-year-olds.
Yeah, right.
It's just the way it is. You must just have great caring for this community and what you have done for this community through this golf tournament.
Yes, ma'am, I do. It's great feedback, getting it from the fans. We were at a restaurant last night, and Jane Crafter happened to be there as well. And people just have to come over and say thank you very much for what you do. And it's gratifying. As I said, I grew up a very, very poor kid in the north end of Toledo here. Never lived in a house, always a duplex. Used to sit on the front stoop and dream about going to Hollywood, and also wanting to come back famous in my hometown. And be careful what you wish for. You'll get it.
Stay with us, will you, as we watch Morgan Pressel here from the back edge. You mentioned this community, and it has been a community that supported this event every single year, and not just through numbers, but just through the way that they've done it too. It's heartfelt, you can tell.
It's a hard-hit area industrial-wise. I mean, this is not a wealthy area, and all the sponsors have stayed with us.
Morgan for birdie.
Well, as you were talking about the area, our guys were showing wonderful pictures of the big crowds that are here today. And so not only do you support this area, but they really support you.
Yes, that is a compliment. A lot of those people, when I was here, when the tournament began, I used to see some of the people that knew me when I was a little boy, and it was so much fun. They called me not Jamie, because that's not my real name. It's Jamil. So they say, yeah, Jamil, you know, and they come over and give you a cuff on the side. They treated you just like you were when you were a kid growing up here, not like a star, you know, from Hollywood.
Well, Sayri now with this short one.
It's got to be emotional for you, though. I know you've done it a while and been doing this, but every year it's got to be an emotional thing.
It is, and also keeps getting bigger. We started out this tournament with card tables around the swimming pool of a hotel with a gala that consisted of two of my buddies doing it for nothing, Frankie Avalon and Tommy Dreesen. And we had to use them for a few years, and a couple of other friends like Scott Record, the entertainer. You remember Judy from Dinosaur, Kraft Nabisco now. And he did it for nothing for us. So we've had a lot of help from a lot of the entertainers.
I saw Tom Dreesen recently at the Masters, and still just a hugely entertaining guy.
Oh, yes.
He did the dinner there, did he not?
Yes, yes, he did. Yes, he did. So can you count how many golf lessons you have had since this event started?
I've had a lot of them. I'm trying to think of who the best one. Actually, the best one I ever got was from a Reader's Digest. I think it was Sean Humphreys, and showed all the pictures. You know, actors have to see something, and so I kept looking at that. And as I said, when I start out, I'm pretty good. And then I get fatigued. I just can't hold on to any of it. But yeah, that's the best thing. Pictures.
I figured these players would be giving you a tip about every 30 minutes.
No, they don't have time. They have to pay attention to their game.
Sayri, one-shot lead, guys. Big swing on that hole. Remember earlier with the hole-in-one and the two-shot swing all the way back at the 6. So they're going back and forth. And now Pak, the four-time champ, with a one-shot lead as they have just 3 holes to play. They head to the tee at 16. Jamie Farr is going to stick with us here for a few moments. Glad to have him in the booth. Back to the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic presented by Kroger in just a moment. Stick with us for another second.
Oh, yes, sure. Have you mentioned Sayri Pak? If this is her 5th win, have you
we
mentioned
talked about
now, who is it? Mickey Wright,
Mickey Wright and Annika Sorenstam. Annika's done it twice. So
wow, that would
a bit of history. Yeah,
put us in the history books.
Yep,
so this is very exciting, and of course this would be Morgan's 2nd win, then, right? Kraft Nabisco was her first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I had a picture taken with her. I didn't know the photographer had taken this picture. Her grandfather was sitting in a cart, and it was like, I think on Monday, and I'm doing one of these, like, you listen to grandfather and grandmother Crickstein, and the guy took the picture. So it was shot like this to her. So I said, make sure you put the caps in here. And then
what was going on? You're not yelling.
The two, you know, they reversed this.
Sayri Pak trying to win this event for the 5th time in her career. Morgan Pressel trying to win for just the 2nd time overall in her career. It was a major earlier this year, though. Here's Sayri off that birdie, now one-shot lead.
And this very long up the left-hand side, this is a perfect tee shot.
And she loves to hold that finish and watch the flight of the ball.
She's styling just like Judy Rankin. Here's Pressel now.
And Morgan Pressel going with a driver, and this right down the middle of the fairway.
And Jen, you like when you look away, throw the tee to the side, you know it's down the middle.
Amen.
And Jane and Charlie getting a little help to let you know what the yardage is out there, but not doing it by yourself anymore, Charlie.
No, I'm not. I'm here with the golf announcer's best friend, SkyCat. It's a handy little GPS device, and it lets us cheat. It tells me that Sayre hit her tee shot 261 yards. She's got 108 to the front edge, 135 to the flag, and as you can see, the sycamore tree that guards the approach here on the right, not in play for Sayre, so this was a perfect tee shot. She's got a great angle for her approach.
Yeah, the sycamore came into play for her yesterday. As we take you to 17, Kerry Wood trying to get it to 9 under through the shadows. Jamie Farr still with us here. Well done. Having a big weekend, Kerry Wood.
Played this course, Judy?
I have not played this course, but I'm starting to feel like I know it pretty darn well.
Yeah, it's a great course. The hole that Morgan and Sayre on, that sycamore gets them a lot of time. Yeah, there's a drop off there, and you want to make sure, depending upon where the flag is, where that ball lands on the approach shot. Otherwise, you can keep on going. I happened in the Pro-Am to hit a good shot that day, so that's why I remember that hole.
I think we got it on camera.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You never get any good shots of me. You only get my real game.
So see, he can replace Andy North.
No,
nobody telling us the whole.
Andy North is so handsome. I'm telling you, he's signing autographs right now.
Oh,
they
he's
think
going to be hard
George
for us
Clooney.
to live with.
He's out there.
It's the first time Andy North's name has been in the same sentence as George Clooney. I think it's gone very smoothly the last couple of minutes.
Andy North is heading south. I'm telling you right now.
You mentioned, though, the finish 17 and 18, and the 9s are reversed for the regular members
correct,
out here, but 2 par 5s in a row.
That's what makes it so exciting, because you can birdie both of those holes. You might even be able to birdie 17. I mean, eagle 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
I don't believe Morgan Pressel can reach 17, but I do think if Sayre really nailed one off the tee, she's going to get awful close.
Mm-hmm. And Sayre Pak, as you look, this is what is ahead. That's the fairway at 18, but 10 Mile Creek, you got the creek down below and a severe drop-off.
Yeah, this year it's down below. Last year it was even with the
right.
green. they were doing the backstroke, the Australian.
Heavy rains last year, and they got it in, though. They played. Mayhew Kim won the event, but you have to deal with that for most of the field. Almost everybody. It's a 3-shot hole, 18. As you look at Morgan Pressel right now, but you mentioned it during the break. Obviously, be a part of history, because Sayre Pak looking for her 5th win. Only 2 other players, Mickey Wright, Annika Sorenstam, have won the same event 5 times in their career.
Yes. And this would be great also if Morgan won, because this would be her second victory, and she's certainly one of the stars now, the new stars of the LPGA.
Well, Jamie, she sure is right now, according to my Sky Caddy, 165. The hole today is in the back left, up on that little shelf, back left part of the green. Plays down, the wind is slightly into her from the right. Oh, this is fanned away to the right.
Oh.
Now still catches the green, though. Not a bad miss. Certainly not her best from there, though.
Her misses, though, have the ones she's reacted on not been nearly as bad as you would have thought. Laura Diaz, this for birdie at 17 to try to tie. And we saw Kerry Wood get it to 9 under. Diaz.
This is probably the best round that Laura's had in some time.
We talked about
terrific.
The fact that back in 02, she had a couple of wins, 10 top 10s, and may have been the next American star on the rise, and hasn't quite.
Well, didn't she injure? She had an injury.
She did, and then also in the meantime, she became mom to Robert Cooper, so she's on her way back.
All right, there's
a couple of mommies out there. So Nancy Scranton.
Now Sayre right at 30 yards closer to the hole than Morgan Pressel. Much easier golf shot from here. Boy, this is a very good line. Very good line. Just a step or two short, but good solid play there.
Checked a little early, but she's been right on it the last couple of holes. Hey, Jamie,
yes,
thank you so much for coming by.
please, will you be with us next year, I hope?
Love to. Congratulations.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Judy.
You're a wonderful
Thank
host.
you, Terry. Yes, ma'am. I'm having a great time. And I'm going to get Andy North's autograph.
You have to?
I'll have to stand
Does
in
he
line,
have to
though.
come back?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'll stand in
All
line.
right, we'll see you. Morgan Pressel just about set to go here at 16, but again, advantage Pak.
Well, but Morgan Pressel has made more than her fair share of these in her short career. This is a putt that's going to be uphill about 40 feet. Going to have some right to left break in it. She's opting now to have her caddy John Yarborough attend the flagstick for her. And I think a good idea, just kind of gives you a little bit better distance perspective. But uphill all the way. As I said before, this hole located on the back tier, just a slight tier, but still uphill.
Hit it.
Get up there.
Pretty well judged. I know she yelled hit it, but I think she'd take that as a tap in at this point in the proceedings.
But this last stretch of holes, Judy, it's been Sayri Pak who has gotten the ball close to the flagstick and had opportunities for birdie.
Sayri is putting the pressure on and trying to keep the pressure on, and Morgan thus far has not responded with a great shot.
Charlie, what's Sayri looking at?
Well, this is very makeable. It's up the hill. There's not a lot of movement here. It is a little funky looking around this hole, but if I had to guess, I'd say this putt is just maybe right center. Just a matter of making sure that you get it up to the hole.
Only had 25 putts yesterday. She's at 25 through her first 15 today.
Well, but that's a good week with the putter.
Yeah.
Now, where Sayri has really impressed me this week, it has been on the greens, and this 3-wood that she's been hitting off all these tees. I mean, she has really put the ball in play very well, and then once she gets on the green, she's been very strong.
For a 2-shot lead.
You'll notice she braces herself ever so slightly against her left side as she sets up to putt.
Boy, you hate to have that. Looked like pretty close to right in the heart and left it short. But still a 1-shot lead at 15 under for Sayri Pak as they move to 17. Well, it takes rock solid play to compete on the LPGA. Let's take a look at our Prudential rock solid performers. Morgan Pressel, Sayri Pak, the two headliners here, and the two dueling throughout the day. And Highland Meadows, Pressel with the 7-iron in hand on the tee at the 6th, 151 yards. If you've been watching it all, you know what happened. Her first ever on the LPGA, her 6th overall. Same hole though, and right after that, Pak comes back with the birdie. You knew right there the message being sent, I'm not going anywhere. 23 wins in her career, you wouldn't expect her to wilt. And then on the tee at the par 3 8th, just 130 yards, guys.
Keep hitting these great iron shots. You can make your putter look good.
Another birdie try at the 9th to get it to 14 under. Remember, she was 2 shots down after the 7th hole and started the day with a 2-shot lead. So it's gone back and forth. Second shot at 15. We saw this just a moment ago.
Boy, and this is so timely because you are beginning to run out of holes.
And an easy birdie putt, and that's what got her to 15 under and the 1-shot lead as they go to this last stretch. We talked about it with Jamie Farr. 2 par 5s to finish, Andy.
Okay. Well, Sayri Pak has about a 15 to 20 yards advantage distance-wise at 17. 18, there's really no distance advantage because you can only go so far. So if she can hit a good drive at 17, that will really put the pressure on Morgan Pressel, because I think Se Ri Pak can reach the green in 2.
Yeah, it plays more at 17 than it does at 18. So they'll wait for the fairway to clear.
They have definitely caught back up.
Yeah, they were put on the clock midway through this back 9, but both scrambled to catch up, which they did very quickly. Up near the green, third shot here at the par 5, same hole, Laura Davies.
She's made 2 eagles here already this week. Almost 3.
I tell you what, you have to love to watch this woman play golf. You will never, ever be bored.
No, if you come out to a tournament, you have to follow Laura Davies at least for a number of holes. It's old school.
She's had it very quietly, had a real solid year. Has made every cut. She had a finish, a top 3. She's scored reasonably well. We've talked about it before that some of these golf courses are short enough that she takes it over a lot of corners and dog legs, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But that's why it's fun to watch her.
You know the other thing? When's the last time you think Laura Davies has been put on the clock?
She doesn't mess around. You love it.
You don't want to hear what Laura Davies has to say about slow play.
She's expressed some of that. Up at 18, Wendy Ward to get it to 8 under. Kerry Woods at 9 under. All right.
She's in at 8. It's low score in the clubhouse, 68 today. So still has a chance for that 3rd place. Then up to 17. I believe Laura can handle this one. She's putting as well as she has for a while, and with her distance, I think she's going to win before this year's over.
And she'll be in the field a few weeks from now, first week of August, at the Ricoh Women's British Open. We asked a number of the players what they thought about going to St. Andrews, the home of golf.
Very excited. I've never been. I've heard only spectacular things about it, and I think it's going to be a real treat for us. I think it's an honor to be going there to play. So it's going to be great.
Obviously very proud that the LPGA is headed to the home of golf and to St. Andrews. It's a wonderful place, and everybody knows and loves St. Andrews, and the opportunity for us to play there is really exciting.
I'm so excited. I've never been there. I just can't wait to take everything in and play a couple practice rounds and just enjoy it and take it all in.
I'm looking forward to it. I think everyone is. I've never been there before myself, so my caddy Johnny's from Scotland. He's played St. Andrews maybe 30 times, so I think he's already got a course mapped out for us, and I'll just go with whatever he says, I think.
It's going to be very exciting. It's nice that I get to play in the first one there for women, but it's going to be great. I turned 21 on Sunday there, so hopefully it'll be an exciting weekend, but it's just great to be able to go over there and play at the home of golf.
I just hope that the weather treats us nicely. It could be brutal and it could be nice, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we get some good weather there.
I'm very excited about it. That's really great. I'm really honored to be there, so I just can't wait.
2 interesting things, guys. Vari Mackay had the women's record there, course record there, until about 7 weeks ago, and the fact that Laura Davies has never been there.
That was a big surprise to me, very big surprise to me. Vari Mackay has learned her craft and played a lot of her golf at another great golf course over there, Turnberry. But everybody is excited. I'm excited.
It'll be terrific. It's always a treat just to go to St. Andrews if you've ever experienced it, but to have the women play the British Open there for the first time would be terrific.
No, really important tee shot at 17.
And surprisingly, Se Ri has not birdied the 17th all week.
Good ball.
This is up the right-hand side. It's going to need a good kick if it's going to stay in the fairway. Looks like it gets just through into the rough.
There's a good chance out of the rough she may not be able to reach this screen in 2, so now it's even a bigger tee shot for Morgan Pressel.
Well, you're right, Andy. Even though she's not as long a driver, she could still have an outside chance of making it. Just a slight breeze behind her, also going with the driver. And she should like this shape of hole. Likes to turn it a little bit from right to left.
Needs to get it down the left center of this fairway. It's the shortest angle.
Okay. And that one right down the center. That is fine.
It's right down the sprinkler line, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, that was a perfect tee shot, and she got a little bit of roll there, so she may have a chance to reach in 2.
On
forward tee shot at 17 and 18. Even though they're birdieable par 5s. Eagle maybe at 17. Pak a one-shot lead. He's a Toledo guy, Jamie Farr. Just in the booth a moment ago, but Jamie Farr Park in Toledo. And of course, this event, which has been around for 23 years. Big part of this community here. And another outstanding addition. Sayri Pak, Morgan Pressel. It's coming down to the last 2 holes. Pak the one-shot lead up at 18. This will be the best finish of her career. Kerry Wood, but a struggle at 18. That was for par, so she drops a shot. It's too bad. The most she has made in an event this year, $12,700. Right now, a 4-way tie for third. It would be about $60,000. Here's Pressel in the fairway at 17.
And she had 266 all the way to the flag. Used a smart play, opted to lay up in the left side of the fairway, and that'll be a great angle to the front right hole position today.
That was exactly the play she needed. Is there going to be any chance for Sayri to get there in 2, Charlie?
Well, Sayri's got a pretty good lie, Andy. The grain is going with her, but I don't think it's good enough to get it to anywhere near hole high. She's got 246. I think she's just got to try and chase it up that left-hand side and give herself a good angle for her third.
Do you think she's going to try to lay up out there where Pressel went, or maybe try to skate it up as close to the green as she possibly can get it?
You know what? I like the play of trying to push it up a little bit farther, maybe try and get it 25, 30 yards past Morgan. I just think that's a pretty simple pitch from over in there.
There you go. I like
she's pulled an iron out, so I think she's going to try to go short and left.
With that iron, I've got to think she's aiming at Morgan Pressel's golf ball.
Well, it's definitely match play right now.
It's going to be just fine. Well back. Maybe a little bit farther right than she would have liked, but certainly no problems from there.
She should be able to spin the ball without any trouble from that distance.
Ahead at 18, Laura Diaz just off the green. This her 4th. And remember, she's one of those tied at 8 under. That just a moment ago. So get in at 8 under. Now Meg Mallon, former champ here. This for birdie. Good to see Meg playing well this week, Judy.
It is going to count as her best finish of the year.
That was par the entire way. Ohio State Buckeye. A lot of fans here in Toledo. Tap in for par and around to 72. 1 over in the final round for Meg Mallon. She's just one of 6 past champs in the field. Of course, you can count Pak for 4. So, but Laura Davies also a past champ. That was 1988. That was at Glengarry Country Club. But here she is with the driver. Second shot at the par 5 18th, Judy.
She loves this big-headed driver off the ground. I don't know if she loves the direction that one took. But you know, if she catches a good spot in the bunker, that's not a bad spot in 2. Not a bad spot in 2 at all.
And she knows her position. She knows if she makes birdie, she'll have sole third by herself.
And you know she wasn't going to lay up.
Absolutely.
Not in her nature. Kerry Wood, Wendy Ward, Laura Diaz, and Laura Davies all tied at 8 under. So Laura with a chance. We'll see what she does from that bunker. But Pak and Pressel in the fairway at 17. 1 shot separating those two as we go out to Sayri Pak. Charlie, what is it?
Well, she's sitting dead on 81 yards. She can't see quite all of the flagstick, Andy. I mean, she can certainly see the top 2/3. She walked up sort of short and left to get a good look at that whole location.
More behind it, 86 there.
Plus it's in the shadows.
81.
Do not want to miss this to right. It's only 4 paces to the fringe.
Yeah, really the only place she can get in trouble is short and right here. She's got to make sure she gets it over that front right bunker.
Well, this is a great position to be in. If she can stuff this, it really puts the pressure back on Morgan Pressel.
Perfect.
Good solid strike. Right up underneath the hole. What a play there.
Morgan Pressel will be next. See that obviously she won the Kraft Nabisco earlier this year, second in the U.S. Open back in '05. She's had a bunch of close calls. Could this be another one?
Well, it's right in her wheelhouse, 71 yards. It's a perfect lob wedge for her. Be just a good full one.
Get up, to bed.
Great stuff.
I love the things that today's great athletes do under pressure.
Can we see 2 birdies? The fact that Sayri Pak will be putting first, I think, is very important. If she can knock it in first, she basically has control of her destiny at this point in time. If she keeps doing the right thing, it's going to be hard for Morgan to catch her.
Sayri would be fine with 2 birdies.
That's exactly right. Morgan Pressel birdied 17 and 18 yesterday. Sayri Pak had a par and a birdie yesterday. Well, we've had some great galleries all week. They've been following this group 6-7 deep around a lot of the fairways.
There's 18 behind the gallery, just a short walk from the 17th green to the 18th tee. You mentioned Morgan Pressel and Sayri Pak with birdies at 18. Neither one, though, as we saw Laura Davies a moment ago, tried to reach the green in 2 for almost the entire field. That's just a 3-shot hole.
Well, Charlie, this is what, about 6-7 feet?
It is, Andy, and there's really not much here. I mean, it might be right center, maybe inside right. The difficult thing is reading this putt with the shadows coming across this green right now. Sort of a camouflage effect in there, and you just sort of concern yourself with maybe trying to see a little too much. The shadows just make it really tough right now.
I think people who don't play the game think that that's kind of silly for golfers to say that that's a problem, but it is in fact a very different way to see the line.
Back of her mind, she knows that Morgan Pressel is going to make her putt probably, so she has to make this to keep the 1-shot lead.
Center.
Gives you a pretty good idea why that young lady's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame later this year.
2 pressure shots.
Very quickly up to the bunker at 18. 3rd shot for Laura Davies.
Feet up above the ball a little bit makes it slightly more difficult. She's got great hands.
So that left for birdie, which would get her to 9 under, sole possession of 3rd place.
Back to 17 and Pressel's birdie.
Well, not much that I need to say about this one, Andy. It's about 1.5 feet. Couldn't ask for it to be in a better spot, except in the hole.
to 18. Pressel, one off the lead of Se-Ri Pak.
And Laura's
in fact,
good.
If Laura can
and
finish third, I mean, that you couldn't have drawn it up any better.
I know.
That,
and
that
rating.
Vesberg is with Davies, and she is having the best finish of her career. Well, I'm just telling you that.
How many events has she played over the course of the last 4 or 5 years?
Very, very few. She has one on the Euro Tour.
Right.
But
well, thank God we had a rating spike there for a while.
She played a lot this year, though.
Judy.
Yes.
I can't believe you told me I was silly.
When?
But she's only made 3 out of 7.
When did I say
cuts.
you were silly?
About the camouflage effect on him. You called me silly.
No, I didn't. I said people who don't play golf think we golfers are silly.
I thought you were calling me silly.
No, no. In fact, I
golf anymore?
almost complimented you on how slim you looked on the Sky Caddy piece, but I didn't.
Almost.
No, I just said people who
did.
don't play golf think, oh, those golfers are nuts.
What is she going to hit off this tee?
Yeah.
They do.
Scooper? 3-wood?
Scooper.
Scooper.
Nice.
That's what I needed yesterday.
Well, you know what? They played those 4 holes a half an hour quicker than they played the 2 before.
And very well, I might add.
Yeah, right.
And you didn't mind. Ooh, that's good. That's good. She's hitting that thing beautifully.
Comes down to the final hole. Morgan Pressel down by 1 here at 18.
And going with the big stick, going with the driver. Wants to shape it from right to left. And this one is headed left toward the gallery.
That's well left. So obviously no chance to even think about the green in 2, but just to get it back to a position. Remember, there's a creek down there. Just got to cross that to set up the 3rd shot. We'll see. Before she played, Se-Ri Pak.
Well, this was with the 3-wood, a club that she's played beautifully all week long, and here's another one. This is up the left-hand side. This is going to be absolutely perfect.
Took it across that corner, a shot that moved a little bit from left to right, and that has proven to be the one that's worked for a lot of players all week.
I think she's shown a lot of patience this week. She could have tried to hit driver in a lot of these holes. She's taken the 3-wood. She's put it in play. That's given her so many great opportunities to be aggressive with her iron shots, and I think that's why she's going to win this tournament.
You know, she went through her hard times. She was such a good player, so young. She was so disciplined, and she worked so hard. And then she just kind of had a little bit of an emotional implosion. She's come all the way back from that, and she's the happiest golfer, I think. I don't know that we've ever seen Se-Ri Pak in such a good place.
You can see it right now as she walks up the fairway at 18. She's got a smile on her face, relaxed, talking to her caddy. Remember the last time she won the McDonald's LPGA last year, and trying to join this list. Annika Sorenstam twice, Nikki Wright once, winning the same event 5 times in their career. And this would be number 5.
She came to this country, this wonderful young player, couldn't speak any English. She had a lot of barriers.
And has paved the way for what is now a group of 45 South Korean players here on the LPGA. Davies for birdie at 18. Yikes.
That keeps her in that 4-way tie for 3rd. But a good solid week.
It cost about $26,000. It's $86,000 alone in 3rd. Now playing with Linda Vesberg, who is going to enjoy her best finish ever on the LPGA. Prior to this, it was a tie for 22nd place. Not quite getting the putt there at 18, but the 26-year-old from Sweden, who's been playing over in Europe the last 3 weeks or so, actually won over there on the European Tour. Their last start here in the LPGA was the McDonald's LPGA, former Oklahoma State product. With a solid week, Sayri Pak with a one-shot lead in the fairway at 18 when we come back.
No,
Did you want to say something
no,
about her?
No, I didn't. But just when I told you it was her best finish ever, she was tied for 7th. Now she's tied for 9th, and she did that once earlier this year. But it's
all
no
right.
big
That's
deal.
her best finish ever.
It still ties her best ever.
Oh, I said something about 22nd. Well, prior
That's
to this
all right.
year,
It
whatever.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Prior, you said prior to this year. So we didn't do that tournament.
Well,
so why would we?
Hey, Jane, is she chipping out just the end of the fairway?
Yes, she is.
Game, set, match, boys
she
and
has
girls.
76 yards to the end of the fairway.
Yeah.
FYI.
That was a crummy tee shot.
Sure enough.
Hold, please. Smart play. Good shot. All right, Morgan. All right, Morgan.
I have to be nice to Terry. He's my transportation.
It's a long cab ride, an expensive cab ride to Dundee.
Good.
Back with the second shot here at 18 for Sayri Pak.
Well, she's just inside of 300 yards all the way to the flagstick. Little breeze coming up. That's knocked her off the ball. She'll reset. Breeze came up right when she got ready to pull the trigger. Just going to take this 3-wood and chase it up the fairway as far as she can.
Perfect.
Set up just to hit that little slider.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did, Judy. And this is right on the center stripe. What a good-looking golf shot right there.
That's the shot she's played and the way she's shaped her ball all day, isn't it, Charlie? Perfect.
All week long, Terry.
Yeah. Now, prior to that, Morgan Pressel, the only choice for her was just to lay up, get it out to the fairway, not quite 80 yards to get it out there, and that's all she could do. And remember, that's well back of the creek.
Hold, please.
Just a poor tee shot.
She will not be able to reach the green on her third from there. So she's one behind, and basically she's now become 2 behind because she's going to end up hitting her third shot about the same place that Sayri is in 2.
She has 257 yards all the way to the hole. And the ball appears to be sitting down ever so slightly, and the breeze is in her face. So I really...
No chance, Jane?
Basically, yes, Terry. I would agree. There is no chance.
You can drive it way right at 18 and still be able to get the ball across the creek and down the fairway. You cannot from the left.
Yeah, it was just a quick swing off the tee.
Meanwhile, up on the green, this is Kim for birdie. IK 1 over on the day.
Just to join the group at 8 under. See how that putt, it looked like it was going to break to the left and it kind of wobbled halfway.
Well, nobody's making any putts at 18.
That happens quite frequently in the last hole of the tournament.
Start counting up. Okay, if I finish third, I make this.
But this is a terrific young player. Once she breaks through with that first win, she'll win a lot of golf tournaments.
Good golf swing, good attitude, and time is on her side.
Well, guys, Miss Pressel is going for the big stick here. Going for the driver off the deck.
Well, I like seeing that. I mean, you have one chance if you can hit a career shot, and it can hit a hard spot, and maybe you can get the ball on the putting surface.
Well, Judy, we had that little bit of rain last night, so the fairways are feeling a little bit softer than they have been earlier in the week, but she's going to give it a go.
Tough shot with these huge headed drivers.
This one headed to the right toward the gallery.
A little help from the gallery, too.
A little note for those at home. You rarely hook the driver off the fairway.
Heads are so big now that you look down and it looks like you're hitting a pea instead of a golf ball. I think sometimes a player is almost better off just going ahead and taking the 3-wood and just hitting it as hard as they can, and sometimes it goes as far or farther than that driver off the fairway.
The big-headed drivers are really valuable if you catch just that little upslope on a par 5, and that's when you can just go to town.
On her way to number 5. It's a familiar sight here in Sylvania, Ohio. There it is, that image right there. Acknowledging the gallery. And it'll be Sayri Pop Drive, this main entrance here. Next year, right now it's Mi-Hyun Kim. Her name's on it, but it will be Pak once again. They ought to just name that thing Pak Drive.
She still has a shot she has to play here. She's got to get it in that back left-hand corner of the green. The bunkers can cause some problems. We've seen quite a few of the players hit it over the green into the fringe. So, you know, when you're a little bit nervous, you still have to execute one more quality golf shot. Charlie, what sort of yardage?
She's sitting right on 83 yards as the crowd acknowledges Morgan Pressel coming up here around this 18th green. She just popped up over the hill. Boy, it's great crowds here today. They love these two players. It's been a lot of fun to be out here walking with these players today, guys. But Sayri right on 83 yards. And as I mentioned, that 3-wood she just played from the fairway, just 1 yard right of that center stripe. I mean, what a good 3-wood that was.
Almost exactly the same distance she had for her third shot on the last hole.
Yep, just 2 yards farther, Andy.
That really helps the player to be able to, in your mind, know you've just played that shot well.
I'm standing by the green, and the shadow of the flag is 2 or 3 paces right and short of this hole, and I think that's got to be where she's looking. You know, just a little short and a little right. She'd be really pleased to take it 15 feet, 20 feet uphill for birdie.
So for those of you rejoining us now, we do apologize for the technical difficulties because of the storms in the Northeast. Sayri Pak hitting her third shot here at 18. Morgan Pressel had the layup out of the woods after driving it left off the tee. She has already played her third right of the fairway. How about this? Almost going out in style.
Terry, it is now over. It is officially over.
Now you can put up the sign on the other side of the clubhouse, Sayri Pak Drive, the main drag here in Sylvania, Ohio, named after the winner of this event. Right now, Mi-Hyun Kim's name is up there. It will be Pak for the 5th time.
Her entire game is absolutely sharp, and she has withstood the challenge from Morgan Pressel today. Showed a lot of discipline.
Morgan Pressel, as we take you back to our State Farm Insurance shot of the day. Remember the tee shot at the par 3-6 from 151 yards with a 7-iron. This, after a 2-shot swing, already took place back at the 4th. Remember, she started the day down by 2, completely turned it around. The hole-in-one, the first of her career. She was in command, but Pak didn't wilt. She didn't back off. She came back, birdied that hole after, and fought her way back through the back 9. And even though Pressel had her first ever hole-in-one on the LPGA, it's been all Sayri Pak the last 3 or 4 holes. She had shot after shot dead on the pins, and right now has that 1 shot, a little tap in at 18 for her 5th victory in this event. ESPN's presentation of the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic, presented by Kroger. Brought to you by Owens Corning, proud to be the title sponsor of the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic. State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Choice Hotels, official hotel partner of the LPGA. Visit choicehotels.com/LPGA. Morgan Pressel just off the green at 18. This for par.
And just a little bit of a downhill slider. Boy, she's acquitted herself very well today. Just that one boo-boo there on 18. Disappointing, but she's beaten by a great player.
And Jane, give her credit. Back on the other side of the creek, looking at her third shot, she took the driver. She was, what, about 257. Really no real chance, but went after it. And now Sayri Pak. Oh! All right, so we'll be replacing the caddy. No, I just won 195,000. No, he can stay. All right, this for bogey.
I think she's bringing a lot of fans to women's golf. I think she is, along with some other players, bringing a lot of young girls to the game.
64 yesterday and very close today. This to make it official. For the 5th time in her career, the winner of the Jamie Farr, Sayri Pak, joining Annika Sorenstam, Nikki Wright, is the only players to have won the same event 5 times in their career. Charlie Reimer working his way in there.
Sayri, 5-time winner here at the Jamie Farr. You're 5-time winner here now at the Jamie Farr. I think you like it here.
I do love it. You know, I always like it, and I still love it. So, I mean, basically, this week is one of the lovely week, and so I was really happy about the comeback, and always exciting to be here. So suddenly, you know, 5 times full of hands.
Well, the key to me, it looked like for your round today, was at the 6th hole. Morgan Pressel made the 1,
and then I make
and then you were 3 behind, and then you make birdie and went on from there.
It was. I think that's the key point. I think. Wow, she got such a great shot, and she got all day solid. I mean, I was pretty difficult to catch up her, you know. But so I'm really solid, trying to play my own game, and then finally at the end, that's one of my goal this week. But I had it.
And boy, you sealed the deal with the 3rd at 17.
17. Oh, the 17. Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, basically, that's kind of hard though. But so I said, just all week this week is so much great for me. It's a great balance, good break, and I have such a great lucky balance and such a great fan out here. I mean, no complaining, and that may be I'm better to play white here.
Well, Sayri, great playing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Charlie, thanks. The 24th win of Sayri Pak's Hall of Fame career. And 5 times over this event. Yeah, a little hug from Jane Crafter, best part of the day right there. Pretty impressive, though, from that 6th hole on what she did to come back.
Yeah, I think hugely impressive, because this has not been a year where she has contended to win real often. She has not won in more than a year. So this was a big deal. You know, we talk about horses for courses, though, and what makes that? Your eye sort of sees everything flying just right. Your eye fits the golf course. You have great memories, and she just made some more.
And it'll go down as a 3-shot win. It really wasn't. This was close.
Oh, it was very close. Morgan Pressel played exceptionally well, but she hit the one bad shot at the wrong time off the tee to 18 that all of a sudden Sayri Pak could play that hole completely differently. And it's a whole different deal when you know you have to make a par or maybe a birdie to win. And all of a sudden now you know the pressure's off a little bit. But boy, they both played some beautiful golf. I thought Pak making the bogey at 4 and then the bogey at 5, it could have gone sideways at that point. Then she made that great birdie putt at 6 after the hole-in-one by Pressel, and from that point on, she really played some beautiful golf.
I know some people wrote Sayri Pak off, and she had some tough times emotionally. She's come back from that. Now, let's all remember, she's only 29 years old. It's not like she's 39 or 45. I mean, she's got a long way to go here.
She has yet to reach those years, those early 30s, but we think male and female professional golfers hit their peak.
And having reworked her swing, too. You took a look at 2001, 2007, it's much different.
Well, confidence is such an important part of this, and when a player loses that confidence, you feel like you'll never play well again. Well, now she's got that confidence back. I think she's going to win a couple more times this year.
The NTRA coming up next. Delaware Handicap coming your way from Wilmington, Delaware. And Morgan Pressel, still a teenager, a major championship victory in the bag, and very close on this one. You got to give her credit, too. She played well today.
Give her a world of credit, but you have to wonder if that shot off the tee at 18 was kind of the mistake of youth.
Yeah, going left and perhaps. And she closed herself out there. Had no chance at 18 to catch Se-Ri Pak after pulling it into the woods. So it's Se-Ri Pak, the winner for the 5th time here at the Jamie Farr Owens Corning Classic, presented by Kroger. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Terry again, and Se-Ri Pak wins this for the 5th time. So long, everybody, from Toledo.